Hi, welcome to Two Italian Women and
The Stories We Tell
with Erica Martin
and Diane Bovalino.
and our lovely guest star, Miss Marcy Lovell of Lovell Counseling, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Marcy, and the easiest way to remember is that there's love in your name. How
Love.
appropriate. Lovell.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I love that.
Love it. How great to have a guest that literally brings love without even having to do anything. It's just in her name.
Just in my name.
So Marcy's a therapist. She's also someone that we have met mutually through our Reiki. And we talked about Michael, who was our spiritual guru, who kind of brought us all together.
Mm-hmm.
And so how blessed it was that Marcy and I were able to reconnect in the last week, and we started talking, and I said, you want to come on? You're like, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Do you want to talk a little bit about your practice or what you
Sure.
do, please?
So I have been in therapy for about 15 years. It's a long time. And I see the full lifespan. My youngest client's 2, and my oldest client's 98. Oh, I love
God
that.
bless your 98-year-old client
Oh,
that
I
comes
love
to
that.
therapy.
She comes to therapy because she is preparing to transition. And and I do that a lot actually with people as I help them in their last stage of life.
So having that spiritual component is probably so
huge,
important.
so huge, and I feel very connected to those patients that way, or clients that way. And I so yeah, my practice is out of Columbia, Maryland, and
Here we are.
Here we are.
So, as empaths, which all 3 of us are, we can talk about the struggle. The struggle is real.
It is.
When it comes,
Every day.
Truly.
Every day, yes.
Just being an empath in general, and then trying to maybe maintain relationships with others, because we've talked about how statistically speaking, it's less than 2% of the population that are actually empaths, and oftentimes empaths are drawn to more linear, more scientific or mathematical partners and friends. They have like kind of that grounding energy, but they don't really understand what it's like to function. I think in one of our episodes, didn't we talk about the woman that tried to explain to her husband what it was like, and she like tied him down in the chair with jump ropes and like loud music and pots and pans, and what, can't pay attention, and I thought that was a brilliant way of her trying to describe like the overstimulation that we just have as empaths, and that constant connection, that constant caring that we can't turn off. It's not like something that we're selecting, and it's really hard. So we learn the skills, we practice, right? But maybe let's talk about relationships in general. There are some common themes with empaths. One is that we usually tend to gravitate the opposite. Those that are like really scientific, mathematical, and logical kind of gravitate toward our lighter side.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple yet complex in how they relate to us. It makes it more complicated because they don't understand our thought patterns.
Want to illuminate that a little bit?
And what we bring to the table.
Yeah.
Just, I think it's more about, it's very, very specific, and it has less substance. And when we try to bring substance, it makes things more complicated for them, and then they disengage.
You're right. They shut down. It's like what they can't understand, or what's not quantifiable or tangible, right? Which makes sense, but it also can be very dismissive.
Very dismissive.
Very dismissive. And I don't know, Diane, in your experiences with relationships and stuff, do you find that a lot of people have a hard time understanding you as an empath or your needs?
Yes. Yeah. It's just that sensitivity piece. And I think that need to like have that quiet time, and that need to be what am I trying to say, to have that quiet time and
Recharge.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
Time to recharge your battery. That is the most precious thing that you can give to an empath. And with a partner who's not hardwired the same, you know, it can be a host of things from like, I think you're being very selfish, or why aren't you spending more time with me? Or you're in the wrong career, or, you know, you're expending more than you
To other
should.
people than you are to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you give me that time, that space that you give to other people? And it's because when you get to the point of being with your person, you want to be able to relax.
Turn it off a little
Turn
bit.
it off a little bit. And then they feel like it's neglectful, but yet we're actually even more connected. It's just not as outward.
Yeah.
It's more of a, you know, it's a deeper level that they may not get to.
And it's a
So-
safety, like that person that you're with should be your safe space, that you don't have to be on, that you don't
Right.
have to be, you know, living in that energy where you can actually kind of turn it off, relax, be yourself. And that takes a lot as an empath to get to that space with someone.
Mhm.
So you're right, I agree with you. That is the deeper
Mhm.
level of intimacy if they can understand that.
Or if they'll even go there with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you know, it's not uncommon for narcissists to draw to empaths like moths to a flame, because they see your light, right? They want from you the very thing that they get frustrated that you give to everyone else, and that's our career for all of us. Like
Yes,
we're all in
yeah.
that healing field, and so that does take a lot out of them. I mean, it's pretty demanding. Like Diane, right before you got here, you were treating
Yes.
a number of energy clients. How are you feeling?
Yeah, a little worn out. Yeah. I mean, I love it, but I believe as empaths, in an energy healer, I give even more. And I love it, but yeah, I'm feeling a little tired.
I'm
A
sure.
little tired. And I know sometimes I go home at night and I'm just so tired at the end of the night. And I really just want to turn on like whatever show and just zone out. And
Not think.
And I know throughout cancer, that was one of my cancer treatments. I used to want to just go to like a movie. And that was like therapy, like watch the movie and just forget about going through cancer treatment. It was like the best medicine.
So what happens when we're in relationships? It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be a friendship or whatever. I guess maybe a cool spin on this is, how are we impacted as empaths when we're not getting what we need from our partner, or they just can't even respect what it is that we need? That's kind of heartbreaking. It really, I mean, I understand that they don't get it, but it doesn't hurt any less that
When you
that's
feel
what-
dismissed.
Yeah.
You feel dismissed or not even appreciated. You know, it's you're overlooked a little bit.
that not valued maybe is really what it is, because we bring gifts to the table,
Right.
right? Not everyone is called to do this kind of work or to live this kind of life. And so when you do have that calling on a soul level, like I don't think this is a career for any one of us. This is a calling in what we do in our work. And so it's not easy to say I'm being called and drawn toward really serving people, serving humanity, really, and being a safe space to just hold that person's grief, trauma, energy, whatever they're experiencing. It's a beautiful thing, but it takes a lot out of us.
Yes.
So how important it is to have those friends or partners that help restore, right? It's about being restorative. And so we have to learn to set limits and boundaries, which then gets tricky. I'll let you two talk about this, because we never, as empaths, we never want to hurt anyone. We never want to disappoint anyone. We never want to let people down. So we're really bad at setting boundaries.
Really bad at setting boundaries and also sharing what is bothering you, because you're afraid that what's bothering you is gonna then make the other person feel bad, and we don't want to make them feel bad.
So we take in just,
We just absorb it all
Like a sponge.
like a sponge.
so what do we do? What is our, we're speaking to all these lovely people out here. What would be some advice that we might give in terms of boundary setting limits?
Let's see.
It's a conundrum, isn't it?
One thing I'm just thinking is if you know Reiki, do self Reiki. Clear energy fields.
Ride Peloton. That's what I do every morning.
Or speak your truth.
It's hard to do that.
I practice speaking the truth like you practice the Peloton or you practice energy work, right? It doesn't come organically to me. But I've learned to like chip away through my own work at the story of not being in servitude to everyone else. And they may have a hurt feeling or be wounded. But ultimately, I think that serves the relationship better. Right? You get through the initial hurt, you work through the problem. If your partner or friend or whomever, loved one, is willing to do that.
That's the key.
And if not, you may need to reevaluate. You know, I'm a big fan of seeing bolt cutters on the show. Like sometimes you need to take energetic bolt cutters.
I do love that. Soon I'm going to be saying that. I'll never get to say it like her.
Bolt cutters.
Bolt cutters.
Yeah.
I have to practice.
That is her. That's her
that
signature
seems so
move.
foreign to me. Like it's
Bolt
that-
cutters.
I know, and I'm like,
That's her
whoa.
signature move.
But you know, I feel this way
I love it.
when it's counterintuitive to being an empath to cut someone out energetically, right? It's like we will go to the ends of the earth
Oh yeah.
to please and to try and satisfy whatever expectations they have, right?
And you take it too far. You go too long.
Yeah. And then you're spent, you're burned, you can't reach that love
Hurt.
place. Yeah. You can't reach that place of love and connection. You just can't because there's resentments that have built up over time of not feeling valued or appreciated. Bolt cutters to me is the kindest thing that you
Do
can
it again.
Bolt cutters.
Bolt cutters. Okay, I hope you
One more
guys are
time.
out there doing
You should
it.
practice.
I want you to
Take
practice the bolt cutters.
Okay, and what about we need to tell?
And we have Bridget behind the scenes who helps with all of our filming. She's got the bolt cutters down. Good job, Bridget.
Okay, and everyone like who's listening on the podcast, Erica, can you tell them how to do it?
One more time. Slow, sharp, bolt cutters.
But you need to tell the people on the podcast can't see us. So you need to tell them how to do
Oh, I'm sorry. So
Thank
extend your elbows out
it. Okay. Extend your elbows out.
And your fingers are tight,
and your fingers are tight.
straight like blades.
Then
There
you
we go.
cross the right hand and the
Okay.
left hand underneath.
At
You
the
go,
same time.
yes, bolt cutters.
Bolt cutters. You say bolt cutters.
Crisscross your arms like an X.
All right, so you see the energy of bolt
Yes,
cutters, right?
And then you say bolt cutters while you cross.
As many times as you need to.
And I think, and then you envision the person, energy healer in me, you envision the person in your head that you're saying bolt cutters to.
Yeah,
Wow.
There you go.
That's powerful.
and their energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
There you
really
go.
what it is it's saying, if you think about relationships, there is an energetic connection to you and whoever that is in your life. And if that is a positive energetic connection, you feed each other, right? It's like you don't have to be in the same energy all the time, but you feed each other. There's a reciprocity.
Positive, that's good.
Positive's ideal. That's what we go for, right?
Because you said positive. Did you mean negative?
No, I said there could be a positive
Yeah.
connection,
Okay.
right? And we want that. That's what we're creating.
Yeah.
So if I misspoke, I apologize. But when you have that negative connection and there can't be the reciprocity and you're the empty cup who just keeps giving and giving and giving, when you take bolt cutters, what you're doing is you're energetically choosing to cut the energetic cord. Now, that doesn't mean you have to completely eradicate that person from your life. It just may be you have to reframe how that person is going to be in your life and to can cut energetically this pattern. So like if you think of a relationship that's built on a negative connection where there is hurt or injustice or lack of empathy and compassion, when you go bolt cutters to that connection, that frees you.
Gives you more space
Correct.
for the things that are healthy.
Correct.
I like how you said you can reframe how they're in your life.
Yeah, you don't have to cut them, but you can cut the connection.
Yeah.
That type of connection.
Correct.
Right.
Connect
Yeah.
because you don't want to foster that.
No, like you said.
You
the
know, and
negative.
I think that's one of the kindest things that you could do for yourself and actually the other person, because if you're in that energetic connection, you're probably enabling. right? You are probably in some kind of codependency where you're tolerating that kind of treatment or allowing it to continue. And so when you decide to say, I am no longer going to be connected to that injustice, that is freeing. That gives you that space to bring that love into yourself. And that's what our show is all about.
Oh, I love that. Perfectly said.
Yeah. Life,
Love
heartache,
and redemption.
and Marcy Lovell, who brings us love here today. We appreciate her so very much. And thanks for being part of our bolt cutter experiment. Anything you'd like to say before we sign off?
Trust the process.
That's two Italian women
And the stories we tell.
signing out.
I think we need to, reminding about the YouTube.
Oh, yes.
Do the podcast.
Okay, so on YouTube, thank you. Oh my God, for all the amazing subscribers who helped kind of elevate us in the last month. We put out a manifestation video and the power behind our thoughts, and that'll be maybe next video that we come up with. But please like us, subscribe us, continue to follow our channel. Every Tuesday we'll have a new episode that'll come to you, especially if you subscribe, it'll come automatically. And
yes, and for all of our podcast listeners right now, we really appreciate it. Like on Spotify, if we have earned a 5-star, we would love a 5-star. On Amazon Music, we would love any written review. Erica and I read all of the reviews. They're very important for our ratings and continuously being put out there as a podcast. As on Spotify, it's the same thing. We're also on Google Podcast, and we're also on a couple of other viewings of platforms that you watch podcasts on. So we just wanted to make sure we mentioned that. And also you will see down there, you can subscribe to our Gmail, and we'll be sending out our latest and greatest groups that we are creating. Of course, we have an empath group because we're all about empaths, because you have 3 empaths here.
yes, ma'am.
And we are going to be getting a holiday group going because the holidays are coming. We're excited about the holidays.
I hate the holidays, but
I'm excited about
you don't like them either.
I
Too
used
much.
to. I
They're
used
too
to. Now
much.
it's yes.
Oh, I'm turning these ladies around. They're going to be loving the holidays with me.
All right, ho,
So
ho,
get
ho.
ready. Get
All
ready.
right.
Okay. We're turning we're positive here. Okay.
All right, one more time. 1, 2, 3.
Bolt
Bolt
cutters.
cutters. See you soon.
Bye-bye.